Welcome to Mindshock. This is your host, Bruce McGuire, and you are listening to yet another live Q&A. When you exist outside of time and space, you are not limited to merely 24 hours per day. Despite what either globe earthers or flat earthers might lead you to believe. So let's see if everybody in here actually got notifications. Most people apparently do not. Got any questions, Sam? Or do you just want to say ding, ding, ding? Taking all questions. We had some interesting ones in the last couple of Q&As. Let's see if people who missed the others will catch this one. And oh wow, the screen is glitching. Oh, maybe it's okay now. Okay, so taking all questions. I think we got a little bit of lag on this stream, but we'll make the best of it. Dave Mills, where is Maxwell Powers really? The enigma that is Maxwell Powers. Nobody can keep track of Maxwell Powers. Sad news about Carl Weathers. He looked really good for a guy in his 70s. I actually didn't think he was that old. A little bit of a shock. But yeah, Carl Weathers is awesome. A lot of great movies. I think he seemed kind of sad when Stallone didn't bring him back for Balboa or any of the Creed movies, even in dream sequences or whatever. I think during a Q&A, Carl Weathers said that he was kind of sad about that. Would have been cool to see him as Apollo Creed again. Anybody got any questions? Taking any and all questions. Last couple Q&As, a lot of people wanted to talk about Flat Earth, a couple different true crime cases. Wonder if we'll get more into shadow people and Bigfoot on this one. Bigfoot, obviously a favorite topic here on Mindshock. So what do we got? Questions. How about the Kentucky Pig Squatch? The Kentucky Pig Squatch. Don't know much about that one. I know there's a lot of hybrid type creatures. is this just a continuation of what the ancient Greeks were doing with minotaurs and centaurs and all that? I wonder how advanced the technology of the so-called ancients really was. When you look up pig squatch, the first thing comes up is the My Name is Earl fandom page. I've never actually watched that. My Name is Earl. Pig Squatch was a giant pig that lived in the woods near Pimmit Hills Trailer Park, but was only ever seen by drunk people until Joy saw him when she was sober. Joy was determined to catch Pig Squatch to make him a tourist attraction. She lured Pig Squatch in by tying some bacon to a piece of string and put him to sleep with a bucket of slop with some sleeping pills. Darnell took some pictures of Joy with Pig Squatch when he noticed he wasn't breathing, as Joy had accidentally given him too many pills. Joy and Darnell had to try and get rid of Pig Squatch as the county wouldn't take him away because he didn't die of natural causes. They tried putting him in on a wheelbarrow, but Joy got her hands stuck inside. Luckily, Earl had recently made friends with two Army veterans, Jerry and Joe, who got rid of the Pig Squatch using explosives. So that's the first thing that comes up when you search Pig Squatch, the My Name is Earl references. Also, an Amazon review here, take the stank off a pig. Dr. Squatch Pine Tar Hair Care Kit. That comes up when you look up Pig Squatch, for whatever reason, this Amazon customer review, 5 stars, take the stank off a pig. Dr. Squatch should pay us for the promotion here. Dave Mills said he saw it on Monster Quest and never actually watched Earl. Yeah, neither have I. How much do I to donate if I want a video reviewed for fallacies? If you want priority, I mean, you can send a PayPal donation with the accompanying request, but I'll generally add most of the requests with the list. I mean, I do have probably a few dozen on the list now. What do you want reviewed? Maxwell was trash. Everybody has their opinions. Some think that Maxwell was the most beloved. What video did you want reviewed for fallacies? Was it a debate? Yeah, just PayPal. I do not have Cash App. Could also drop a super chat here, but YouTube takes 30% or something like that. Your debate with Leo on Modern Day Debate. Oh, that's going to be a painful one. Which one was it? A recent one? Oh, I see. Real offended. Yeah, Leo Filius. I mean, that guy is rough. Yeah, that guy is really rough. I mean, I don't know if he has a genuine mental disability, but I believe I saw him with, did he debate Austin Whitsitt way back when? That might have been one of the first Austin Whitsitt debate I saw, which was really painful for a lot of different reasons because for whatever reason, Austin ends up debating a lot of these mental midgets, so it's just really tough on a lot of levels. Now, I think Leo actually might have a legitimate mental disability. I don't know. He misses all the basics, so everything he's arguing is that he just makes House of Cards arguments, and then he doesn't comprehend any rebuttals. So it's like a waste of time to talk to him. I mean, it doesn't make him a bad person or anything. Doesn't mean anybody should dislike him, but it's just I don't know why some of these people want to debate. It's really weird. Him and who's that other guy? Let me there's one other guy who just keeps doing so many debates. He might actually have the most debates on modern day debate. Let's see if I can find him. Was it T Jump? I think T Jump. I've never seen him win a single debate in anything, so I was just wondering if T Jump was just gonna continue making hundreds and hundreds of appearances until he finally wins one. But he just. It's just. Mark? Which Mark? I think there's. On modern yeah, there's a couple people that just they have no business debating. I mean, that's just I mean, the topic doesn't even matter. I mean, just I mean, my suggestion was you have to make people take a test. So they need at least, I would say, a first or even second grade English comprehension level. Because obviously, Craig, Fight the Flat Earth, he's not even close to there. He's not even preschool level. That was one of the biggest issues with Craig. Yeah, T Jump, I'm not 100% sure if T Jump has a legitimate mental disability or not. Leo appears to. But T Jump, yeah, he's pretty lazy. Obviously, his mental capacity isn't that great anyway. It seems like he's intentionally not comprehending anything or pretending not to comprehend in bad faith. If only you could. I mean, the humiliations that T Jump has endured on literally every debate I've ever seen him on. I mean, he's just getting decimated every single time on every topic. I don't think he'll be deterred no matter how badly you decimate him. I thought I just saw him recently on one. I don't know, maybe the video popped up, but it was an older video. Or actually, you know what? I think he does have some debates, but not on the modern day debate channel. I don't even remember the topics. You spent your whole debate with Mark and Leo forcing them to stick to logical reasoning and valid arguments. So I bring up this example all the time. If a paraplegic is hanging out in his wheelchair next to the basketball court, like why would there be an expectation of them just getting up and starting to play defense? I mean, where does that expectation come from? Like people are trying to pull these guys out of their wheelchairs, but if they don't have the ability, like why would we expect a quadriplegic to be able to play good defense in a basketball game if they can't even walk, if they can't even use their arms? Like I don't know where these expectations come from. Like pretending mentally disabled people aren't mentally disabled just to spare their feelings. I mean, that's not beneficial for them. That's not beneficial for anybody else or any of the viewers. I mean, it's a weird thing. I don't know. And it's very painful to watch a lot of these, especially when they're nice people. I mean, I don't really like to make fun of them. I mean, I'll make fun of the arguments they're attempting to use. I don't want to make fun of them personally, obviously. They might be very nice people, but when they pretend the other person is up to speed, they think it's close and continue to stay on the court. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what's. And they keep getting invited to the court, too. Like, that's whoever, like, the court owner is, they keep inviting them. It's weird. And then some people in the crowd start to, like, they'll criticize me for pointing out that the individual's in the wheelchair. I mean, there's nothing, I mean, I'm just pointing out objective reality. Yeah, the audience keeps them in delusion. Yeah, that's why on the next episode, the next part of the analysis between Craig and Caleb, I'm going to go into like why Caleb's followers are so cruel because they're cheerleading this mentally disabled guy with all these different mental health conditions. They're cheerleading him into mental health spirals. It is really sad. Like that's not something to make fun of. Like it's really sad. Yeah, I mean, people were asking me if I was going to debate or moderate, but the format would have, and I haven't really seen an optimal format. Just because, I mean, even when you have really smart people, they might be missing some basic definitions. So they spend all this time arguing against the wrong definition. You know, Steven Crowder in his Change My Mind series, I don't know if he's done it recently, but on the older ones, like where the meme came from, he actually, one of the first things he did is he had like a dictionary or some kind of printed out definition from like an encyclopedia, something that, or he would even tell the other person to look it up on their phone. So that way the empirically verifiable definition would be established. So that would actually preempt a lot of the silliness. Because some of these Dunning-Kruger groups, like, and narcissists, they're not even can consider the possibility that they might not know some of these very basic definitions. Oh, Earth 7's back. Earth 7 had some great comments last night. There's a slight lag on this stream for some reason, but we'll make the best of it. Soho Debate Forum. I haven't seen those. Someone like T-Jump might be suffering from brain fog from their toxic diet. Yeah, maybe. And fluoride. The fluoride stare. Let's get Earth 7 started on fluoride. Wonder what kind of questions we're gonna get now. I mean, I'd like some more diversity in the questions. It seems like a lot of them are on the same topics or subtopics. I mean, anybody got any Mothman questions? Obviously, on Mindshock, we have the most extensive and comprehensive Mothman series. But yeah, going back to get some of these people on these debate channels, I mean, it's actually pretty cruel to even allow them to debate. It's like, you know, I mean, it's like it's rough. Like imagine in sports if people were kind of like pushing mentally disabled people to compete or whatever physically disabled people to compete with professional athletes or even amateur athletes or even weekend warrior type athletes that were at least fully capable of performing the sport where they weren't. And it is so cruel. Like I really don't get it. Tanel, that's a cool name. That's a good question, real offended. Intimately linked. Not just linked, but intimately so. I mean, we'd have to go all the way back to probably the Phoenicians in phonetics, right? It's tough. Because I mean, can you have knowledge? I mean, obviously, you can have knowledge without language, but obviously, language is responsible for building knowledge. Because if you're reading various different books in ever increasing difficulty in content, the language used to build the knowledge would be critical in examining. You wanted to force the message down their throat. They are wasting time up there debating about topics with no valid argument. It's rough, man. It's I don't know how any of you do it that go on there. Especially Austin Whitsitt. Like he's his level of patience, I mean, that guy needs a medal. And Caleb with Craig, like what he endured with Craig's mental health spirals and Craig's just denial of the scientific method. It was just rough. Like these people need medals. It's crazy. Yeah, real offended. I might get to it, but honestly, like the amount of mental pain, like the Craig versus Caleb is so difficult to get through. Because again, I don't really want to make fun of the guy. I don't, nobody should be trolling him. I mean, the guy needs compassion and mental help. So it's just really hard to get through them. YouTube is addicted to eating dryer sheets. Wow. Shout out to Earth 7. He is a unique individual. Yeah, real offended. I think what a lot of the issues is you're giving these people too much credit. Like if you think they're at a second grade level, they're not. So you're going to be using words and concepts that it's not going to work. You have to dumb it down even more. Like you have to take it all the way to a preschool level. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of people's issues. I know Austin doesn't really debate the person. He's doing it for the audience so people can learn, but that's how you save him. Make fun of him by saving him. I don't know, because see, there's a difference between people who are dumb and don't have a mental disability, like some of these narcissists and these clueless goofs who are being intentionally argumentative and deceptive. Those people you can make fun of. But people with legitimate mental disabilities and having a mental health crisis, like Craig does, I guess, every time he streams, I mean, that's just not compassionate to make fun of people that are struggling. Just like, I mean, you'd never make fun of somebody in a wheelchair for being in the wheelchair. I mean, you can call out the people trying to pull them out of the wheelchair to play defense on a basketball court and get them hurt and humiliated. Those people you need to call out. Dr. Kober in the house. Will you look into the Ozark? Yes, I've been looking into it. I have cases that I've been researching for many years. I started looking into that the very first time you brought that up a few months ago. I'm still compiling. Got 20 people in here, only 8 likes. I think the YouTube algorithm needs more than that. We got to get close to 100% likes if they decide to get on. Well, that's the thing. If they were brainwashed, like if they're mentally incapable of making the decision themselves and others are forcing them into it, like that's the issue there. Like the other example I bring up is like a toddler, like let's say an adult wants to box a toddler full contact in the ring or even kickbox, whatever, or even bare knuckle boxing with a toddler. The toddler, even if the toddler agrees, they don't know what they're getting into, even if they do decide to get in the ring. I mean, the problem is with the adult calling them into the ring, the problem is with the event organizer, and the problem is with the crowd cheering the toddler to get in the ring. And when the toddler keeps getting knocked down, the crowd is still cheering on the toddler as if the toddler has any kind of chance or is actually winning exchanges. I mean, that's the real issue. But if they don't have the mental capacity to get the message, how can they get the message? I mean, these are just ifs. Obviously, I'm not claiming anything is true or untrue. What do you think about the missing 411 phenomenon? I have a podcast series on that, actually. Also, a jumbo podcast on that, Sam Pedro. At least you didn't ask me what I believe. What do I think about it? I think there's definitely a lot of strange disappearances that cannot be easily explained, no matter how hard the coincidence there is to hallucinate and pretend they can all be easily explained. There are certain cases that are just, especially what really gets me are the cases where the missing people turn back up, either dead or alive, not only exactly where it was searched, but exactly where it was searched extremely close to the spot where they disappeared of, like literally right next to like a large big trail. Like it was 100% searched multiple times and they weren't there, and then they just pop up there. Those really bother me. The ones that turn up miles and miles away, yeah, that's suspicious as well, especially if it would have been problematic to travel that far. But the ones where it was not only searched multiple times, but right next to a large trail very close to the initial spot they disappeared from. There's also a lot of issues with granite boulders or large rocks. Apparently, a lot of those occur around extremely large amounts of granite. You know the world must be flat because when people leave town, they never come back, Earth 7. Not quite getting you there. I have not seen The Last Airbender. And no problem, San Pedro. I go through a lot of the historical ones, too. There's some really weird ones from quite far into the past. Have you ever covered the Stanley Milgram experiment? Can the white coat turn you into a puppy killer? No, I haven't. You're the first person that actually brought that up, I think. How many people in here actually got the notification from YouTube? Bueller. Bueller. Okay, cool. Yeah, for some reason, it looks like most people don't. Only a couple people do out of everybody that watches them. Okay, Christina, thanks for telling me. So now I didn't. Yeah, I think on the last couple streams, only 2 or 3 people said that they did. So, yeah. If you want to break free of the Matrix, I'd be happy to show you what I know. Could always use more if you think it's more than working correctly. The whole thing went up and wasn't. Well, which thing? Flat Earth stuff, specifically. You think I'm still stuck in the Matrix? I am operating outside of time and space, my friends. Unless there's a multi-level Matrix and I might have left the first level like Neo did, but then when you get out of the Matrix, there's another Matrix. Riz, I don't get notifications, however, you come up all the time as a suggested vid. Well, that's cool. Yeah, it seems YouTube's really inconsistent in terms of that. I think it also depends on how many other channels you subscribe to and how many other channels you like and comment on, so it might prioritize based on that. Fluoride toothpaste is made from people. That's a bonkers one. I don't think I've heard that one before. Horse hoofs? Oh, fluoride toothpaste. I think it's made from fluoride, which is obviously not good for you. Dr. Corbeau, over 4,000 subs, Harley. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know when that started because a few algorithm changes back, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago, it seems most people did get notifications, and then something happened, and then there's just a huge drop, and like every algo change, it's like a bigger drop in people getting notifications. I don't know. Yeah, YouTube can be really weird. What happened to K West? Dr. Corbeau, you and K West were in a lot of chats, right? K West used to be on almost every stream. Haven't seen him in a while. Ultimate TV 9000, you're not awake enough. In relation to what? Riz, I didn't realize you did live. I just started doing live Q&As. I'm going to be doing some hybrid shows because a lot of times my presentations are so long and I want to get so much across. If I went to the chat, it would just make these multi-hour videos even longer. So I don't know. Maybe I don't want to split them up permanently either. So maybe I'll be doing some kind of hybrid setup where there'll be presentation, chat, back and forth, maybe. Christina, what do you think about dumbs in ancient tunnels? That's funny. You're like the fourth or fifth person that asked that in the past couple streams about the rumors of the deep tunnels and other things going on to the Getty Center. Okay, so I actually did a podcast with JR on underground bunkers. It was called either Underground Bunkers or Doomsday Bunkers. And we went over a lot of that. I couldn't remember who the first conspiracy theorist who was bringing that up was. It might have been Phil Schneider or John Lear. I think John Lear brought up a lot of that about how there are these underground highways connecting across vast distances, and of course underground military bases. Ancient tunnels are like a separate category. Now, maybe they converted some of the ancient tunnels. I did a long Hollow Earth podcast series, quite extensive and exhaustive, if you've checked that out, Christina. Two different things, but, I mean, they could intersect as well if some of the ancient tunnels were repurposed by the military. Some people think that throughout the multiple resets or mud floods or whatever, the people that survived went underground. It's actually kind of weird because on one hand you have people kind of recommending to seek high ground and go up into the mountains, and then on the other hand you get people going underground. So I don't know, I guess it depends on the type of reset. Real offended. I honestly think the censorship regime is coming to an end. I don't know. Might just get rebranded, like getting canceled. They don't really use censored. They were using like they just play all these word games. More people are trying to figure it out. And I think the 100th monkey effect is actually real amongst people. If we're going with the interconnected cosmic consciousness, not just people, but all living things might be able to share some kind of consciousness related to the Akashic record or otherwise. It was the lockdowns. Oh, that woke more people up, no doubt. Corbera digs the multi-hour streams. Yeah, YouTube actually just recently, I think, put a 12-hour limit on it. So now on my 20-plus hour streams, I can't do any more of those. Michael Aquino being reported dead multiple times a day. Yeah, I don't know. That guy's freaky. It's kind of weird. Like, the coincidence theorists want to just ignore the fact that this guy went on public television on these talk shows openly talking about his occult Satanism with his satanic eyebrows. And people kind of just, they don't even bat an eye. It's like this high-ranking military official. It's just weird. No problem, Christina. The sooner Glebby's grasp our stationary setting, the better. Bill Nye says this day is soon. What? Would you consider going on Monday debate with Austin? I don't know. I don't really like debating. I've done a lot of it. I just think it's more efficient to dissect the debate. Like, I think you can learn a lot more by dissecting debates with logical analyses than actually participating in them. Because again, let's say, like, look at Craig. Like, if I debated Craig, like, he doesn't know the definitions of basic words, what would the point be? Or somebody like Leo or whatever. Like, if they're not even at that basic preschool, first grade English level, like, what's the debate going to consist of? Just them proving they don't understand the basic definition of words? It's might not be conducive. Or do you mean just me and Austin? I might go, I mean, I would go on Austin's channel just to talk to him outside of a debate, but I mean, Austin would beat anybody. He would beat me in a debate on probably any topic. Dr. Kerber, what about Christopher Whiteley, alleged victim of werewolf attack in Hood County, Texas? Yeah, I think you brought that up before, and I did add that to my list. I did a werewolf podcast, I think with Sid Irwin. And we went over the history of werewolves and a lot of issues with werewolves, but not that one. I don't think we went over Christopher Whiteley. Tutsaka's back. Do you say that just because you want an easy victory? Well, wouldn't it be the other way around? Like, why? What do you mean easy victory? Like, if they understood basic English, then it would actually be a more difficult debate. But again, anyone that's after the pursuit of knowledge, they're not going to be so narcissistic that they're thinking in terms of winning. They should be thinking in terms of truth if they're being logical, which is a lot of problem with a lot of debates. People just want to win. They don't care what the truth is, and they don't care about being logical in the argumentation on the way to the truth. Tsutsaka, you think I don't make real arguments, so you haven't watched any of my logical analyses. I mean, I don't make claims as to what is true or untrue, but in terms of which arguments are valid or not valid, I do go over that. Real offended, dang FR, question mark, and what was that in relation to? We're on a slight lag here, so apologies for that. Earth 7, about to battle all night, maybe never good when it happens over the weekend and their fluoride-free time is short. What? Hey Bruce, have you looked into the covers of The Economist magazine they make? Yeah, I've seen some of those. Those are weird. That would make a good podcast, too. Dr. Kabur, Aquino made death threats against Mae Brussel over her exposure of him. Next thing you know, she gets the Jack Ruby cancer. Really enjoyed JR's freakouts on the Jazzercise episodes. I actually have Jazzercise Part 2 coming up. I can't get a hold of JR. I don't know if he's on some CIA op somewhere, but I might solo that one, but there's more to the Jazzercise conspiracy. We didn't cover all of it. Tsutsaka, just watch some of them on here. They're all over the channel. If you need help, just get an English tutor to help you out with them. Tiffany, are you not a flat earther? Why would you think I was a flat earther? I explicitly state that I don't make any claims on literally every podcast. The motto of the podcast itself is the only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. I did lay out how to determine the shape of the earth, though, on the past couple. Like, I think on the first 3 live streams, I went over it. Basically, having colored exhaust coming from planes and flying planes simultaneously from the tip of South America, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand, with boats with line of sight verification of the low altitude flights while flying dozens and dozens of drones all around for visual confirmation from the air as well. And then you could easily prove that Antarctica is an island continent at the purported distances. Dr. Kabur, fun werewolf coincidence. Tony Alamo's compound in Dyer, Arkansas had a werewolf. Then he moves to Fouke, Arkansas. Well, Bobby Creek Fouke monster. Why are cryptids following Tony Alamo? Yeah, that's a weird one. That kind of intersects with a lot of occult demonic theories where demons don't really haunt places, they haunt people, and some of them generationally. So maybe there's some relation there. Austin can beat anyone but me. Would agree on most things anyway, but he's safe for now. I'm not sure I've ever seen you debate Real Offended. Yeah, Tsutsaka, I don't make up fallacies. They're all empirically verifiable. Just once you figure out how to use Google, you can look them up. Real Offended, I literally said the word for word to Leo and McToon on the after show. I'm debating Toon this Tuesday so he can teach me. I feel sorry for you, my friend. Yeah, McToon's another one of these goofs. I don't know if he's completely brain dead, but I don't know. It's just the lack of understanding of the basics is what's a problem, because what's the point of the debate if they don't have the basic definitions down? Yeah, Jazzercise 2 is coming. The most anticipated Mindshock follow-up episode in the history of Mindshock. Guys, better bring your headbands. Yeah, Real Offended, narcissisms don't understand that argument because they already presuppose that they're correct. Were you really forced to Jazzercise, Dr. Kurbo? That's funny. Well, not funny, depending on how you feel about Jazzercise. Why would I change the script if the show is about logic? Like, you want me to all of a sudden be like you and think that logic is meaningless, as you explicitly stated? You want me to just completely switch the show where, like, we're going to be anti-logic? Like, oh, I don't know why you're even here, Tsutsaka. Well, actually, we do know. I mean, your subconscious is crying out for help. Aquino supposedly shot himself in that. I mean, a lot of those deaths, I mean, how can you verify any of that? Just because, I mean, the reports could be doctored, or their deaths could be faked, or they could have had a double. I mean, I don't know. Still projecting Tutsaka? Tutsaka's been, I think, on every one of these Q&As humiliating himself. I mean, I don't know. I guess people don't have that much to do. To attempt an attempt. So you're stacking the hallucinations now, Tutsaka? Mr. 1-to-1 is back. Yeah, we're doing another live Q&A. The ancient Yoruba oracle corpus of Ifa describes the earth like two calabash bowls on top of each other, globe-ish shape. Two bowls on top of each other. Some of those depictions aren't necessarily physical, though. Yeah, real offended. If you want to listen to the previous couple Q&As, Tutsaka was in here crying like crazy. It's pretty funny. I mean, otherwise, why would he be here humiliating himself? If he really thinks that I don't understand basic English, like, what's the point of even being in here for him? Imagine you're a planet, but you're not doing anything. This whole Earth be moving under yo feet. Huh? Ultimate TV 9000, I'm not following you. Imagine you're a planet. You're not doing anything. The whole, like, if you're a planet, what do you mean? The whole Earth is moving underneath you if you're a planet that's not the Earth, or if you are the Earth. I mean, either way, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if it's possible for you to slow down further, Tsutsaka. I mean, mentally, I don't know if it's possible, but you can give it a shot if even this is too much for you. I mean, I suggested the tutor, but you apparently you're not interested in stopping the humiliation cycle anytime soon. Yeah, I don't know, Dr. Kurbo. Maybe we need your professional medical opinion on Tutsaka's state. These Dunning-Kruger marionettes, I mean, they just love dancing for me. It's really hardcore noise cancellation software. I'm not in a studio. Pretty much the normal frequency bands are impossible, so I can go more on the high or low spectrum. I mean, if you hate my voice that much, why? I mean, why are you spending hours on these streams to attack? I mean, is it just glutton for punishment combined with your glutton for humiliation? The geographic South Pole. Watched YouTube channel last night of a guy who stayed. I mean, was he live streaming 24/7? Dan's La Musique. Another Tutsaka cope. Pretending that if you use too many vowels, that must mean that it's cliche. Is it cliche to use vowels just because so many people use vowels? But if you're trying to be accurate, you have to use the vowels. Calling something a cliche invalidates it how, Tutsaka? You're proud of being in the Dunning-Kruger gang? It seems like it, otherwise why else would you be here? If you're a star on the moon floating, yes, okay, then you would fall off. It's moving. Channel name, Joe Spins Under the Globe. That's a weird name. Is he like one of these anti-flat earth grifters? I like watching stuff from people that have nothing to do with these arguments. Oh, it's Joe Spins the Globe. Okay. Yeah, that might not be any kind of grifter channel if he's not talking about flat earth. Like, see, the problem is, how does he know he is where he thinks he is in Antarctica? But yeah, it looks like a cool channel. Dr. Corbeau, this is also a newer mic, so I'm still using a lot of the noise cancellation software, but this mic is new. I just got it for the first live Q&A to test it out. I don't know who Dennis Miller is. I don't believe I know who Dennis Miller is. Political commentator, stand-up comedian. Yeah, I don't think I know this guy. People have given me Joe Pesci and that guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Earth 7. Yeah, I never actually thought I'd get this many subs. It's kind of weird. Everybody wants more and more and more. I'm like shocked. I was shocked probably at 10K. Very interesting. Dance La Musique. Him Snake in the house. Thanks for the super chat. Can you acquire elevation angle measurements with a curved baseline? If so, how? Okay, this old argument again. I mean, I explained it a million times. It depends. So the way you phrase that, well, even with the curved baseline, but the baseline is not necessarily curved on a sphere, depending on the size that you're referencing. Like, for example, if you put a water... There was some guy in here talking about levels. We went over this a little bit. If the level is small enough, like you have one of those mini levels for like a desk, like almost like a paperweight, like those tiny little ones, if you put it on a large enough sphere, it'll be perfectly straight. But the sphere would have to be large enough. I mean, I don't know how many times I can go over that, but like, I'm not claiming any size of a sphere. I'm not claiming any shape. But again, you can do this so-called experiment. I mean, obviously, what you're measuring the elevation angle to would also have to be close enough in relation to the size of the sphere. So obviously, if it's a certain distance away, then you can't. It's a flat fact that we're all flat earthers. Well, that depends on how you define flat earth. If you define flat earther as someone who believes the earth is flat, just like if a globe earther defines globe earthers as someone who believes the earth is globe, as opposed to simply someone existing on whatever someone believes this is. Dan's La Musique. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'll check out the channel. I always like looking at those because they're not like anti-flat earth grifters. They're just reporting what they're doing, and they're not trying to prove anything anyway. Justin Johnson, we're all flat earthers, some just don't know it yet. Well, that could be a false dichotomy as well, because if the earth is, if flat versus globe is the wrong way to think about it, because obviously the human mind is only capable of so much, and obviously huge variations within whose human mind is capable of what, as Tutsaka is demonstrating here. But if this is all some kind of holographic simulation, I mentioned this on the previous Q&A, I think. If the intelligent design, if this is all some kind of software program, the intelligent designer might be screwing around, changing it from flat to earth and just leaning back and laughing as everybody argues about it. He claimed the magnetic, well, how did he measure magnetic south? That it was 2,000 miles for, does he have a special compass that points south instead of north? The NASA headquarters. They already stormed Area 51, didn't they? Not really. They kind of hung out at the perimeter, right? Everyone wants more flat earth. I don't know. Some of the polls, like a lot of Mindshockers hate flat earth, or even talking about it. Tanel, this is Mindshock. I might do multiple premieres and multiple live chats at the same time. Because I like to operate outside of the realm of time and space. Tiffany, yeah, I actually have finished one book on logic, and I'm working on my second book on the Dunning-Kruger effect. They're not available yet, but I'll post updates. I could see Joe. What does that mean? More flat earth content. It's unstoppable and it's part of the Great Awakening. Apocalypse is the end of ignorance and bliss. I mean, it's definitely one of the best topics to develop logic. Again, regardless of which side you're on, or if you're not on any side, it's a great topic to not just logic but psychology as well. That's why I did so many analyses on it. Mainstream groundhogs are mostly wrong. Okay, mainstream groundhogs. Yeah, and real offended. Also, if this is some kind of simulation, I mean, all bets are off. I mean, obviously the burden of proof is on positive claims, but it could be something that a human is not even capable of comprehending. That's neither flat nor sphere. But yeah, there are huge problems with the claimed dimension of the planet in the mainstream. If their mouths are moving, they're lying, mainstream media. Nah, they have to sneak in at least a couple things that are true. I don't want to ascribe percentages, but obviously it's a huge skew on mostly false propaganda. Inside reality, not on it. Or outside of it, observing it. And vice versa, Ultimate TV 9000, depending on dimensions. Riz. I don't know about whether or not the machine is controlling 80 to 90%. Maybe it was. I think that number is dropping a lot. Dan's La Musique, he claimed all directions are north from there. Who knows how they well, yeah, it's kind of important on how they calculated it, though. Not only that, how they claimed to calculate it, and then how they verified that they did, in fact, calculate what they claimed to and how. Would a compass work -70? It's a good question. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck? Well, which woodchuck are we talking about? And is that woodchuck a fan of Chuck Norris? Because that would be, we'd have to know that information before evaluating each individual woodchuck's woodchucking ability. Yes, Justin. And mostly because it just triggers them. It exposes their belief that they're not actually scientific, but they're scientismic. Eratosthenes. That's funny. Our own senses tell us we are not moving. The one thing about relativity is like the ultimate plausible deniability, where it's got built-in explanations to try to counter everything. Obviously, it's non. I mean, it's all fraud anyway. But the fact that it's almost like preemptive plausible deniability, like it was set up that way on purpose, and then it wasn't even enough. So then they had to come up with special relativity to further the plausible deniability because it wasn't even good enough. Regular relativity wasn't good enough. Not that special is either. Do you have to be special to believe that special relativity is legit? Does that woodchuck chuck more wood than the average woodchucks? What do you mean, the woodchuck that's a fan of Chuck Norris? I would think their woodchucking ability would be far greater than a non-Chuck Norris fan woodchuck. Not mainstream woodchuck loves Chuck Norris. He has it on PSP. Shout out to Justin for gifting membership. He's always gifting memberships. Big shout out to Justin Johnson. You've been around for a bit, right, Justin? North Pole trip live stream it. That would be cool. Rotating with the Earth. That's the counter argument there. But yes, supposedly it's rotating from west to east. So, because it can't magically be rotating in all directions at the same time. I mean, I haven't seen someone adequately explain that. I'm just saying they claim that the atmosphere is going with the Earth. But then you also have to add in the jet streams and wind gusts, which could be going in opposite directions of the jet stream. So it's pretty weird. The woodchuck you're using to test how much wood a woodchuck chucks. Well, also, is this particular woodchuck that's a fan of Chuck Norris, can that woodchuck also use nunchucks, Bruce Lee style? Is it a nunchucking woodchuck chucking wood who's a fan of Chuck Norris? Chuck chucks all the wood. Has Chuck Norris ever actually used nunchucks? I don't think I've seen Chuck Norris use nunchucks. Real offended. Einstein wasn't even a scientist. Pretty sure he worked at a patent office. Yes, he did. Ironically, going over patents of certain scientists whose work he stole. You're having trouble following the chuckiness? Well, we can make it even chuckier. Like, is this test of how much wood could this Chuck Norris fan woodchuck chuck, who also uses nunchucks, is this going on at Chuck E. Cheese's? Is it a Chuck E. Cheese Chuck Norris fan nunchuck wielding woodchuck chucking wood? Wonder if any of the Mindshock listeners can answer that one. While chuckling. We're all chuckling. And is the movie Chucky... Well, actually, the movie's called Child's Play, so that doesn't work as well. If it was called Chucky... Well, Bride of Chucky. Is Bride of Chucky playing in the background at Chuck E. Cheese while we're testing this Chuck Norris fan nunchuck-wielding woodchuck chucking wood against all the other non-Chuck Norris fan woodchucks at the Chuck E. Cheese with Bride of Chucky playing on all the screens, even though that's not necessarily a family-friendly film? These are the important questions we go over on Mindshock. I mean, I can't think of a more legit scientific experiment than this one. Is Chuck E. Cheese a high-ranking secret society member? There might be an Illuminati conspiracy surrounding Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, possibly overlapping the Jazzercise conspiracy. I mean, we're talking CIA ops across the board. It's a shame JR's not here. JR might know what's going on, like the Chuck E. Cheese conspiracy. You know, something weird's going on there. That's the most Chucks I've heard in a long time. I actually did a Chuck, I think AI analyzed Chuck Norris jokes, the best Chuck Norris jokes. I uploaded that a while ago. Trip has an Uncle Chuck. Don't forget Uncle Buck with John Candy. Charles Barkley. I'm surprised he doesn't go by Chuck. Chuck Bark. Chuck Bark. Chuck is old and weak. Who, Chuck Norris? Chuck Norris might be immortal. I do have a Steven Seagal podcast coming up. That guy's been intertwined with conspiracy quite a bit. He was one of the first people to leak the CIA drug running in the mainstream media in the movie Above the Law. I think that was 89. It's actually kind of shocking that even made it into the movie. They need to do a movie with Chuck Norris versus Steven Seagal. Uncle Buck is an awesome movie. John Candy is one of the most underrated comedians nowadays. I mean, back in his heyday, he was highly regarded, but people kind of forgot about him. Bruce Lee would mop up anybody. I did a Bruce Lee podcast. It's weird. It's like the equivalent of like flat versus globe debate in the martial arts world, with people thinking that all of these MMA fighters would easily beat Bruce Lee. It's like they don't understand the basics of physics. When a guy is that fast, I mean, force is mass by acceleration. He doesn't have to be that big because he's that much faster. Steven Seagal, the reincarnated llama, allegedly. What gets me about Seagal is like when he was on that law enforcement show and he wanted to catch some criminal, so he randomly decided to run a tank through the guy's house, killing all these animals. It's crazy. I mean, it was just a bonkers episode. It was totally bonkers. Have you guys seen that? I wonder if I could play that without a copyright violation. Chuck Norris a flat earther? It's a good question. I think he's a Bible guy, so who knows? Tiffany asked, who do I think killed John Bonet? I mentioned this on the previous live streams. There's a problem with the timeline, so we have to, without knowing exactly what happened at the White Home, it's very difficult to answer that question. whatever happened, I don't think it was simple or clear cut in any way. I could answer it that way, regardless of who was responsible. How do we know Bruce Lee was really that fast? Well, you can look at the videos, unless you think they're all fake, of the people in the background while he's moving. Because in a sped up video, especially like 30, 40 years ago, you couldn't really isolate who's. I mean, now you can, obviously. But back then, like in the background, the people standing around with just regular mannerisms or walking, they're normal speed, and Bruce Lee's moving so many times faster. And of course, all the testimony of people who knew and sparred with him and all these other fighters at the time. Does everybody know that Bruce Lee beat up Steven Seagal? Do people not know that? I'm gonna save that story for for the Seagal podcast. That was just a teaser. Supposedly, I mean, there's actually legitimate testimony. This isn't just a rumor. There's legit testimony from more than one source that Steven Seagal actually challenged Bruce Lee and got wrecked. I mean, this was Seagal. I believe this was Seagal pre Aikido in Japan, though. So obviously, based on that, he would have been really young at the time, but still. How fast would Bruce Lee be on chicken coop meth? I don't know. I hope you're really loaded, Justin. I always feel bad where some people email me and they want to become a member on Patreon or a member here. I mean, if you're struggling, please do not spend money on this channel or any channel. Like, you got to take care of yourself. But hopefully, Justin's very well off. Well, Dave, that's a good question. Quentin Tarantino, who's obviously a scumbag, made Bruce Lee look like a chump in the last movie. What's up with that? Well, here's the thing. I'm the last person to defend Quentin Tarantino, but I will for this movie. Because in this movie, Tarantino did the first time he was actually original in his career. So he created an alternate universe where none of these people are actually these people and there's no relation to our universe. So that's not Bruce Lee. Just training videos. There's no other way to describe water that erupts from the ground with such clarity and smoothness from a sustainable source deep underneath Chuck Norris's Lone Wolf Ranch. Norris fun fact. Will you do a podcast on the predictive programming of that day, September 2001? I did a predictive programming episode that focused a lot on that particular day. Not exclusive, like probably 80% of that. It's a 2 hour podcast I did with Maxwell Powers. You can check that out, Trip. It might, actually, was it removed? I don't think it was removed. I think that's still up. Not rich, just generous. Well, hopefully you're at least pretty well off. It's showing 24 likes on my end. To now, saw a video about a girl that drank silica and turned to stone in 45 minutes, 1874. A video about it, or a video made in 1874 showing her turning to stone? Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was literally the only original creative movie he ever made. I mean, Inglourious Bastards I thought was probably his second best, but that's a remake, obviously. And not really his, since he doesn't really direct the actors. He just lets them do whatever, and his crew takes care of the rest. But yeah, Quentin's the definition of a Hollywood hack. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I can't think of anyone that fits the definition of Hollywood hack to an absolute T as Quentin T. I'm not concerned about the likes, just the algorithm, because subscribers aren't even getting notified. So the people that are already subscribed that want to listen to the stream, they're not getting notifications. And supposedly that's because of the YouTube algo based on like ratios. But don't stop projecting now, you're on a roll, Tutsaka. Thanks for dropping by, Tanel. You guys want to watch the Seagal video? I want to see if we're going to get hit with copyright if I play it. Let's try this out.
This. 130 roosters are safe tonight after the sheriff's department breaks up a cockfighting operation in Levine.
But it wasn't just the sheriff there and his deputies who responded to the scene. A well-known actor, again, spotted by the sheriff's side.
ABC 15's Eric English joins us live. And Eric, what's it look out there like out there right now?
Well, Steve, there are still a few deputies on scene, but we are waiting for animal control to come up and handle some of these birds. Take a look over here through this open fence. You can see a few of them still milling about out there, including a peacock over there showing his stuff right now. But when the media was alerted this morning to the raid, we showed up and found that cameras were already rolling and a production crew was already in place. But Sheriff Arpaio says this wasn't just a show for the cameras. Early this morning, the sheriff's SWAT team, complete with 2 armored vehicles, descended on a small farm in Levine to serve a search warrant on Jesus Sanchez Llovera for operating a cockfighting ring.
We have over 100 roosters. We have paraphernalia that's related to cockfighting.
Llovera was on probation after being arrested at a cockfight last year. The sheriff tells us he was the only one at home at the time of the raid. Afterwards, the windows of his home were broken. His front gate stood bashed in, and there was a movie star in his front yard.
He's working with us just like 3,000 other volunteer posse.
Steven Seagal, the actor turned cop with the reality show, was along for the ride.
Animal cruelty is one of my pet peeves.
The former action star took a strong role in today's bust.
I came in the 150 and we were to break down the gate. We broke down the gate, deployed out on the 2 side, and we're just sort of, trying to guard one side of the house and see if anybody would run out.
Sheriff.
So, it's weird. Supposedly there was no actual evidence. So Seagal drove a tank through Jesus's house. and supposedly killed over 100 roosters or other animals on the basis that because they heard a rumor that animal cruelty was going on in the home. Now, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but it's kind of weird that Seagal rolled up in a tank and destroyed this guy's home and killed hundreds of animals in an attempt to stop animal cruelty. And the guy's name is Jesus, the owner of the home. Anybody find this weird? I mean, it's not funny that the animals got killed. It's just ludicrous that he rolled a tank through Jesus's house to try to prevent animal cruelty while being so reckless. Like, how could he not be I mean, obviously it's a tank, but I mean, why even use a tank? I mean, it's supposedly they had a legit warrant, even though it might have just been based on a rumor. But so Steven Seagal's first thought is, well, let's roll up in a tank. I mean, here's probably what happened at the police station. So the SWAT team, they're about to go, and Steven Seagal's like, you know what? I'm going to take the tank. Like, who's going to stop Steven Seagal? Can you imagine what would happen if somebody stepping to Seagal? I mean, this guy snaps wrists without a second thought. I mean, he has zero remorse. I mean, that's actually one of the reasons I like his movies, because he's like the only action hero that literally has zero remorse for the violence he dishes out. Not only that, he doesn't appear to get pleasure from snapping wrists and necks either. Like, if you watch Under Siege or Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Out for Justice, like, he has a totally nonchalant face. So it's like, it's just another Tuesday. He's snapping wrists and necks. It doesn't look like he's specifically getting pleasure from doing that. He just doesn't care. Like, he's a very unique individual. Yeah, real offended, wow. And a backwards baseball cap. So, yeah, it was weird. I mean, the guy's name is Jesus. If it did come out, because I don't remember any follow-up articles on this. Like, was the guy actually innocent of animal cruelty? I mean, I think he has a track record. I mean, there's a mugshot, so he's definitely guilty of something. But what if it turned out that there was never any animal cruelty? So it was just Seagal joyriding a tank through Jesus's house, killing 100 birds in an attempt to prevent animal cruelty. I mean, this is wild. This is wild. Let's finish the clip, though. Everybody heard the clip, right? It didn't get muted by YouTube, right? Did everybody hear that? I know the video's showing up. Did everybody hear the audio from the broadcast? We also got a little bit of a lag. Dr. Corbo's reincarnated Tibetan Lama Rinpoche Steven Seagal bursts into man's home and kills his animal depicted in this beautiful Tibetan Thangka painting from... Well, don't forget, not just any man, a man named Jesus. Tibetan Lama bursts into Jesus' home. Not just burst, completely destroys his gate and partially destroys the house. I couldn't find the clip from Lawman. I'll have to look later. But I just wanted to play the clip real quick for the people that thought I was making that up. I mean, this is bonkers.
Arpaio was quick to dismiss questions about the raid as a publicity stunt for Seagal's show.
His role is he's working with us just like other posse people.
He told me he would roll out his heavy gear for any situation that calls for it, including a rooster raid with a movie star.
And I'm going to protect my deputies. If I have to use a SWAT team, I'm going to use the SWAT team, ready for action in case something goes wrong.
What's going to go wrong in a deserted home with birds in a coop? Like, couldn't they tell that there was nobody in the home? So they brought out all this firepower. They brought out literal tanks and armored vehicles for a rumor about animal cruelty. on a guy named Jesus. You can't make this stuff up, people. Like, you can't make this stuff up.
And this morning it was action and then cut. The SWAT team left early this morning, then the film crew and Seagal took off. As for the birds, well, you can see they are still out here. No word yet on when animal control will arrive to presumably take custody of them. As for Yovera, he is now facing 115 counts of raising birds with the intent to fight them. We're live in Levine tonight.
So how did they know there was an intent to fight the birds, so to speak? So he didn't actually do it. There was just a rumor that he intended to do it. And they rolled out all of these tanks. They rolled out a tank. Seagal came with a tank. Seagal came with a tank based on the rumor. They destroyed the guy's home, killed 100 birds, and left who knows how many suffering and injured, and then just left. And nobody knows when animal control is going to get there to help with the rest of the animals. Anybody find that weird? Or is that just me? I mean, I was trying to find more info. Apparently, there's not a lot out there. In the comment section on the video of ABC 15 Arizona, by the way, there was no evidence of bird fighting or any other crime. Over 100 chickens were killed along with his 11-month-old puppy. So Seagal wiped out 100 birds and a puppy in order to try to prevent animal cruelty in a tank with a SWAT team on a deserted home of a guy named Jesus. This is wild. This is wild stuff. I mean, this is just insane. But yeah, we're discussing the one and only Steven Seagal on the Mindshock Q&A. Yeah, you can clip it real offended. A rooster's being killed by a seagull. Wow, I didn't even put that together. Steven Seagal kills over 100 birds and a puppy with a tank at Jesus's house. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, not just the puppy. I mean, the bird. I mean, what? I mean, animal cruelty sucks. It's just, I mean, was Steven Seagal held accountable for this? And who's going to hold him accountable? Can you imagine walking up to Seagal? Like, especially that if he's an actual deputy or a law enforcement officer, I mean, can you imagine the amount of rights he might have violated while strutting around for that TV show, Lawman? We should do a Mindshock series where we logically analyze each episode of Lawman. Would you guys want to see that? I mean, we're going to have to stop it like every 20 seconds for fair use, but it might work. Alright, well, I'm going to head out in a couple minutes so we can do a couple more questions, and then I do have a new Jean-Benet Ramsey episode premiering later tonight. Seagal's going to have to do a lot of those prostrations to Makula to remove those karma. Well, what's funny is just from the look of the expression on his face, it's like he did nothing wrong, and then he just left. Everybody left. The whole SWAT, they just destroyed this guy's home. They killed 100 birds and a puppy, and then just left. Like, they didn't even stick around for anything. They just left. Like, that's kind of weird. I went over the milk pineapple issue, I believe, on a couple of those episodes. Later tonight, I'm going to be discussing one of the least discussed aspects in this episode on the Jean-Benet case of strange and mysterious vehicles that night. Yeah, we don't know exactly how that situation is related. I'll take one more question. The more bunkers, the better. Well, the thing with the ritualistic issues is, wouldn't that have happened at the White Home? I don't know. Well, they didn't even do that, real offended. They just left. I mean, like, can you imagine that guy returning home, finding his gate completely run over and part of his house destroyed, and the chicken coop or whatever, the bird coop's mostly destroyed, and his puppy dead, and there's nobody around. The cops didn't stick around. They all left. That reporter was left. There's nobody there. And it was even unknown whether animal control was even going to get there. We discussed JFK earlier in the stream, and that's not bonkers enough. We need something more bonkers. One more question. Who's got it? We got one more. One more. Bueller. 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 Nobody's got any more questions? What's going on? Is everything energy or electricity? That's a tough one. If you had to guess, what IQ do you think I have? You don't want to know. I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. Yeah, you can really get into some etymological holes with that, real offended. Real offended is so kind. What a nice guy real offended is. Oh, Tiffany with the gruesome one. Okay, this is going to be the last one. Without seeing any dead bodies for ourselves, how would we know that any murder story we hear is even true? Well, even if you saw the body, that doesn't mean it's the person that was later claimed to have been. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you got to use a combination of factors. Like, for example, if that person disappears, nobody ever sees them ever again, and they have DNA samples that match, nobody uses their social security. I mean, unless you're saying they switched identities after the fact, which, again, if you're going to make that claim, you got to be able to back that up as well. So yeah, I mean, that's not a bad question, though. Definitely gruesome. Actually, you know what? I'll stick around for one more question. Let's do a non-gruesome question. We need more bonkers questions. Got any sports questions? Combat sports? Any combat sports fans? What about like a paranormal combat sports question. Anybody got one of those? Which 10 people? No 10 people, no groups of 10 people are the same. Thanks, Tiffany. We got 20 people left in here. No more bunkers questions. 10 more seconds for someone to throw out a bunkers question. Alright, I guess I satisfied everyone's curiosity on this Q&A. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Like and share, comments on any of this. And you can check us out on Twitter, Reddit, and Patrons. Patrons do get priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcaster requests. You could also be a guest on the podcast depending on your tier. We do have more of those coming up. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys